They didn't just fabricate a single lie. They orchestrated an entire system of intellectual and political corruption designed to lure the US policy-making apparatus into fighting their wars. To the American public watching this, you are being lied to. For decades, your consent has been engineered to support actions around the globe that do not serve you. Now, some people will point to events like the attack on the USS Liberty, the theft of nuclear and technological secrets, or the rumors surrounding the assassination of a US president. I am not going to expand on those things today, nor am I here to talk about them. Instead, I want to take you back to the year 2000, specifically to West Asia, where a monumental shift took place, an event so significant it set off a chain reaction that arguably led straight to September 11, 2001. In May of 2000, the Israeli army was forced into a historic, chaotic withdrawal from South Lebanon, due to heavy losses inflicted upon it by the Lebanese resistance. This was an unprecedented event. Never before had the occupying forces of the Israeli military been forced to retreat in this manner. On this historic day, in a border city called Bint Jbeil, the leader of the resistance, Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, delivered a speech that haunts Israeli pride to this very day. He declared that Israel, despite all its advanced weaponry, is weaker than a spider's web. That phrase shattered an illusion. For the first time, people across the region began to believe that liberation was possible, not through treaties, but through active resistance that inflicts real damage on the occupier. Israelis, on the other hand, realized they could no longer pull off the job of regional dominance alone. They need the American military to enter the region directly. To achieve this, they didn't just fabricate a single lie. They orchestrated an entire system of intellectual and political corruption designed to lure the US policy-making apparatus into fighting their wars. We are told these massive foreign policy disasters are just intelligence failures or well-meaning mistakes. But what if I told you these mistakes aren't mistakes at all? What if the lies and the cover-ups aren't a glitch in the system, but the system itself? A highly engineered tool used to start wars, redraw maps, and steal resources, all packaged and marketed and sold to you. Let's skip the political slogans and look at the actual receipts. Back in 2003, Iraq was invaded because they supposedly had weapons of mass destruction, ready to launch in 45 minutes. Spoiler alert, they didn't. The British Shilcot report later proved the intel was patchy at best, with zero solid evidence. So why the war? Alan Greenspan, the former head of the US Federal Reserve, admitted in his memoirs that it was mostly about oil and corporate monopolies. It got worse. In 2006, Joe Biden pushed a literal plan to chop Iraq into 3 divided regions based on sect and ethnicity just to shatter the country. Was Iraq just a one-off? Look at Afghanistan. The Washington Post Afghanistan paper exposed that US officials knew for 2 decades the war was unwinnable. But they kept lying to the public to keep the cash flowing. Over $1 trillion wasted, with 40% of it ending up in the pockets of corrupt networks and feeding the massive military-industrial complex in Washington. Then there is Syria. Under the excuse of supporting democracy, the CIA ran a secret $1 billion-a-year program called Timber Sycamore. The result? Advanced weapons ended up directly in the hands of the most extreme terrorist groups, like ISIS and al-Nusra, the Qaeda branch in the Levant. But why did they do that? To weaken the Syrian state, to secure wins for Israel, geopolitical wins, like carving out the David Corridor in the south, and the split of the country to control water and oil. All these countries completely destroyed. Are we really still calling these mistakes? When the direct war machine fails, the perception machine kicks in to flip the script, making the aggressor look like the victim. Take Lebanon, for example. The Western media machine constantly paints Hezbollah as the one starting the trouble. But the official UN peacekeeping records show the exact opposite. Israel violates Lebanese airspace and sovereignty almost every single day. We're talking about thousands of violations a year, even stealing land past the official borders. This is basically a geopolitical revenge trip for the year 2000, when Israel's deterrence was shattered and they were historically mocked as being weaker than a spider's web. Now, they are playing the exact same game with Iran. For 30 years, we've been hearing about the imminent Iranian nuclear bomb. But here's what does not make the evening news. Since the 2000s, Iran's supreme leader, Sayyid Ali Khamenei, issued a strict religious ruling, a fatwa, banning the creation, storage, or use of nuclear weapons. Even the International Atomic Energy Agency found zero hard evidence of them building a bomb. Now here's the million-dollar question. Why should you, as an American citizen, care? This might feel like a high-level geopolitical drama that has nothing to do with you or with your daily life. But the truth is, this systematic deception is actively shaping your reality. When they sell you the fear of an Iranian nuke, they aren't trying to protect you. They're trying to control massive natural resources, force the region into a security system controlled by Tel Aviv, and crush any resistance. When they fund proxy wars and literally arm militias under the guise of humanitarian aid, like Israel did in southern Syria, they are executing decades-old strategies, like the Yinon Plan and the Clean Break document. These plans openly call for breaking down major Arab countries into tiny fighting factions to guarantee absolute Israeli dominance. This means that this information you scroll past on your phone isn't just fake news. It's the exact mechanism used to steal a regional's wealth, dismantle sovereign countries, and force wars that the average American citizen pays for with their own tax dollars, while the people of the region pay with poverty, displacement, exile, and death. They are literally engineering your consent to destroy other people's futures while draining your own pockets. We aren't just dealing with random bad decisions or tactical errors. We're living inside a massive matrix of strategic deception. Making up fake enemies and faking intel is just the moral cover they need to protect their dominance and secure Israel's strategic depth. The fix isn't just debunking one lie on social media, it's about building a critical alternative mindset. We need to read the reality of the world clearly, completely separated from manipulative narratives trying to convince us that destruction is somehow for the greater good. So the next time you see a Western official on your feed apologizing for destroying an entire nation because it was just an intelligence failure, remember, the lie is the deadliest weapon in their arsenal. I am not going to stop here, because this system relies on a web of deception. I am going to expose their lies to you, one by one, week by week, in a sequence of highly detailed videos. Stay tuned, we are going to discuss how they lied, what was the plans, and what they did to implement these plans. See you in the next episode.